Now the two sides exchanging the pleasantries before they exchange the blows. And looking in from the top of the Dragon's Den, Ederson, 25 years of age, time to turn potential into reality. Just his fourth cap. The veteran Miranda anchoring a new look back line. Lucas Paqueta jumping into a talented midfield, and Roberto Firmino leading an interesting front line, to say the least, for Tite. Meanwhile, for Panama, the Canaleros going with the Uruguayan-based Mejia in net. Bit of a switch from Julio César Deli Valdez, going to 5 in the back. And again, considering Brazil, even without Neymar on the field, you can understand why. Ex-MLSers like Quintero, current versions like Godoy, Davis, and Cummings, the Earthquakes contingent, all have their work cut out for them. And looking in at João Pinheiro, the man with the whistle here today. An all Portuguese crew in Julio César Deli Valdez, one of the greats from CONCACAF as a player, turning into a respected manager and shaking hands with arguably the best national team manager on the planet. The two captains at midfield. The coin flip, and now just about ready for action. Taking a look at the benches here today, Ray, and obviously so much talent for Brazil, but in the big picture, over the next 90 minutes of gameplay, what is Tite looking to try and find out today?
Well, he's got some wonderful introductions into this team, Phil. And the big one is the number 10. I mean, Lucas Paqueta, the Milan young man, will get his third cap. And let's see how that young man carries the weight of not just the Brazilian jersey, but the Brazilian jersey with the number 10 on the back. He's in wonderful company in Artur, in Casemiro, Coutinho, Bobby Firmino, and the surprise package as well from Everton, Richarlison, the ex-Mineiro man. But it's just blending these players in, giving them a real good smell of that jersey. Iconic, most iconic international jersey of all time, in reality, the Canarino. It'll also be a good chance to see how Telles fits in on that left side. A multitude, but it'll be Brazilian football. The touches will be softer than a beer belly on a slug.
We are underway as we look in on Ray's fabulous garden. Down there, this near side, the ball batted away by Alex Telles. His first touch in his first cap, the 26-year-old, playing in front of his hometown fans. Telles and Eder Militao on the ball right now, who drew a lot of headlines after being the first signing of the Zinedine Zidane second era at Real Madrid, making his second cap, the Porto center back.
Yeah, it's a big superstar in the making, the Porto man. That's a lovely ball.
Looking into the middle, Firmino hanging out near the spot.
Nicely
tucked in on the overlap for Wagner, but it just gets away.
Lovely intricate play. Wagner just a little heavy with his first touch. But take a look at this lovely little dagger ball played in beautifully from Richarlison. And there you see that wonderful marbles on a glass table type football of Brazil. Richarlison fading away over to the corner flag area, and there was 3 bright yellow shirts waiting for the service in.
Blasted out to midfield. Casemiro takes it away, turns it back to safety.
The Militao signing is, of course, the one that sent seismic shockwaves through the footballing world, Phil. As you say, the first big signing for Zidane. It won't be the last. But this player here big things expected of him, and to such an extent, the World Cup winner, Rafael Varane, maybe, well, tipped to be the one that might make the exit. I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, according to some of the reports, he's already said in the dressing room he's on his way. Almost brought down delicately. Cleared back to the midfield and down into Arthur. Hard challenge by Godoy, the Earthquakes midfielder.
The back cleats just catch him on top, and that'll be a stinger for the ex-Gremio man. No protection on those gloves on the feet. Used to call them boots. I don't think that quite fits the description of these incredible gossamer-like coverings that the players wear on their feet now. Look out.
Coutinho from the midfield leaves it. Paqueta across. Arthur trying to find the run. So a little playground move that doesn't quite work out.
Why not? A little bit of good dress rehearsal there.
The Milan midfielder trying to sneak it in, but blocked away. Reclaimed by Brazil.
Some great players, of course, that made that number 10 shirt so iconic in the footballing world, but when the Brazilians wore them, there was something ultra special. The great players of the past, of course, and Pelé and Kaká, and for me, Paqueta definitely got shades of the great Kaká.
Arthur playing on the left, Paqueta going over to the right. Same story for Coutinho and Richarlison. Even though there is a big change from some of the players that might have starred during the World Cup, there's a lot of future stars out there. Arthur being one of them. Again, lining up on the same side as his Barca teammate Coutinho. Deflected away. Murillo can't keep it in. Corner for Brazil. By the way, Alex Tejas, if you believe some of the reports, one of the players that Barcelona is looking at as a potential backup or challenger to Jordi Alba. So could be an all left side for Barcelona. Arthur battling Jose Rodriguez. Cross. Back for Miranda. 34-year-old veteran. Oldest player on the field for either team today. Knotted down, but a foul will deny the chance. Mejia with the block anyway.
Fabulous ball from Coutinho. Over wonderful distance. You take a look at this stinger. Pint of beer dropped into a shot glass at the other end of the bar. Richarlison, there's not much there, is there? Seemed to win it pretty fair, but a little bit of contact on the back of the defender, and the referee blew the whistle. But beautiful vision and placement from Coutinho.
Casemiro coming into some question.
What a touch that was. Beautiful from Paqueta.
Tejas. Back to Miranda. Behind the checked run of Firmino. Rattles around as Paqueta steps up, but might have come off the hand. Flag does come up eventually. By the way, you see that mask on the face of João Miranda, the veteran center back for Brazil. Fractured his nose just a few weeks ago, but still out there. Actually, part of that big win over Milan in the Derby della Madonnina, having to wear the mask for protection. Another step on the boot. Firmino, the one who gets cleated. And Machado not happy with the call. The Panama captain barking, but you're not going to win many arguments with the referee.
Oh, you can still argue, Phil. I hope they never take that part about the game away, and just catches him right on the end of the boot. There's little intention. He's trying to reach around Firmino to get a touch of the ball, but a little bit rash perhaps from Machado. This is football in Bolivia with the strongest.
Love those names.
Well, first couple of set pieces were very, very dangerous. And here, you see what Paqueta can drop in with his left, or Coutinho with his right.
It's Coutinho. Smashed away by Cummings.
A little bit of contact there by Cummings as well on Richarlison. A lot of experience in this Panama side, Phil. Certainly, Deli Valdez placing a lot of faith in a lot of these players that have got a lot of caps under their belt, and not intending to use this against these werewolves of Brazil to throw the young kids into the deep, deep end. But there's a few. We'll see what Rodriguez brings. Plays his football in Croatia, the number 7.
20 years of age, already 10 caps. Looked like it could have been a handball, and it will be a late whistle from Pinheiro. Eric Davis knows it.
But Deli Valdez looks as if they've got them drawn up. They're playing with 5 at the back and 4 protecting them. And they're doing it nicely and moving with a bit of fizz about them, knowing they've got no other option. The way this Brazilian team are pinging this one around, working it their way to find the locksmith. There's a few of them there. Here's one of them.
Ball launched into the 18. Looked like it could have been a push against Escobar. And all the way back to Ederson.
What a story he is, the ex-Benfica man, signed for 500,000 euros. And then crafty Portuguese sell him on to Manchester City in their multi-millions for 35 million. Bought him for 500,000, Phil. Sold him for 35 million. Now that's a good trade.
And still trapped behind Allison on the depth chart. At least for now.
Oh,
just slips away. Richarlison tries to win it back and takes it out of play.
his first touch is wonderful, Richarlison, to get past the player, but then his second one goes just into the funny house of mirrors. He had Coutinho waiting for the little touch pass onto him, but good make-up tackle.
Foot might have been planted by Cooper as the tackle came in. Looks like he'll be able to shake it off, though. Julio Cesar. Of course, his twin brother Jorge, also part of the coaching staff for Panama for years. Pretty good player in his own right, including a brief stint in Major League Soccer.
Second stint for Deli Valdez. We covered him on beIN Sports when he was with Malaga. Proud Panamanian. He's got his team nicely drawn up here today. And it'll be a challenge, just as it was for Argentina, to break down Venezuela. And then Venezuela came out of the long grass.
By the way, one thing we've seen to this point is a much more disciplined Panama.
Yeah.
Of course, still early. Let's see what they can do here.
That's well won.
Quintero battling through and finally run down by Coutinho.
Quintero picks the pockets of the Barca man, and then he hits the accelerator away, and Coutinho had to rifle him down. playing his football in Peru now, Quintero, after that loan spell at San Jose. What's the connection with San Jose and all these Panamanians, Phil?
Must be another canal. Poked away. Out for the throw in, about 10 yards from the end line.
Got a ferocious set of supporters around this field. Of course, it's predominantly, massively in favour of Chiche's men. Even the mother country and all of that. But there's a good contingent of Panamanians looking for a miracle.
Looking to launch this one in. Adolfo Machado, the ex-Houston Dynamo defender, all the way into the penalty spot. Touched inside, but the flag will come up. Torres getting in the way of the shot from Escobar.
Good smack from Fidel. As this ball comes out to him, thinks there's a pot of gold at the end of that rainbow header, and then it snap, crackle, pop. But
initially looked like it was big distance between him and the last defender, maybe just a few toes in actuality. And it might take a play like that, Ray, where maybe the flag stays down for Panama to sneak in.
Saw it for the United States when that winning goal in their last friendly was a pot-shotted goal. You're not going to win a coconut if you don't buy a ticket. There's too few and far between for the United States on that night, where they played well in lots of spaces and good connectivity, but a little bit shot shy.
And Brazil, to this point, maybe a little shy as well, thanks to the Panamanian defense. No shots for either team through the opening 14 minutes. A little slip opens the doors. Murillo can't keep his feet, but Tejas can't keep it in play.
Hometown favorite here. Nice interception. Just gets over the line. His wonderful teammate in between the sticks for Porto, one of my favorites of all time, Sanica Casillas, just signed a new contract, Phil, till 2021. And they'll love him here at this ground, and still playing at the top of his footballing tree, the great Casillas.
Kind of interesting how this game can work. His heart was broken when he left the Bernabeu. Got off to a bit of a slow start with Porto, but his professionalism stepped up, his talent took over, and the fans adopted him quickly. And like you said, now it looks like he might end up retiring in Porto colors.
That's what he wants. On the goalkeeping front as well, as you said before, Brazil really tapped a wonderful vein of goalkeepers. It's usually those flair players, of course. Remember the great Gerson when I was growing up as a kid. It's a good ball, just overhit. But here I've got some wonderful goalkeepers in Allison, Weverton and Edison. As this crowd's starting to make their own entertainment, and I'll show you, there's not been a lot of the Brazilian pop and fizz, and that's due to the wonderful Julio Deli Valdez building up a set of moving walls and corks up the nose of Brazil. But give them time, the locksmiths will come out.
Coutinho back. Again, big game for him in the absence of Neymar, similar to what's been going on at Barcelona, trying to find a sweet spot. Paqueta sees it blocked.
A lovely return from Teles. The Porto man playing a lovely one too with Lucas.
Switched by Arthur. Fagner sneaks it through the legs, but it kicks off the heel.
Good play by Arthur. his first sight, as soon as the ball's coming to him, is lifting his head in a central position for Coutinho or Firmino, Richarlison, and that was again well covered up by Panama, so he goes out wide quick and leads to this.
All the way across, overrunning it. The Brazilian attack, they'll retreat and get it again. Whipped across, charging run, the header flashing wide, so close for Firmino.
Beautiful service in for Bobby, who rises like a nice fresh salmon out of a summer stream here over all the big men because of the service, which is nothing less than immaculate from the Porto man, Tejas. The ex-Juventud man sends it beautifully. Another lovely touch.
Arthur now on the right side. Firmino swept off his feet. And yet, the referee coming over, and the apologies from Armando Cooper.
Well, he's had probably the sternest warning from the referee, and undoubtedly the last for Cooper. What I would describe as an agricultural tackle.
Complete with the furrows. 20th minute. Coutinho drives. Richarlison, but he was climbing over the top. Of course, quite a bit of distance between these two teams in the FIFA rankings for what it is worth. Panama down to 76th. This for a team that was competing in the World Cup not that long ago. And Brazil, whose better days seem to be behind them, back up to third. Richarlison taken out again. This time it's Eric Davis, the Slovakian-based left back.
Well, some of these tackles going in from Panama getting a little bit more close to a broken bottle edge. This referee's going to have to really start clamping down. Let the game breathe early on, but he's going to have to take a bit of a sterner situation than rather just stern warnings.
Murillo and Quintero. A little bump from behind, he calls that one.
All the rumors swirling around Coutinho, of course, in the Spanish press. Rumors are that Barcelona are open to offers for a wonderful, wonderful footballer who's had his ups and downs at Barcelona, and sadly more downs than ups.
And again, when you talk a look at his performance at Liverpool,
great ball
behind Richarlison, but he waits. Driving in on Davis, pokes but straight to Fagner, into the middle, a little pushes, down goes the chance for Firmino, and the shot from outside the box sails wide.
A wonderful strike. Tell us again at the heart of it, and this one's going to drop back for the Barcelona man, Arthur, and he stings this one. beautiful hopping ball, and his technique is magic, but just doesn't get that 1 degree of separation with the outside of that foot. Good attempt. Tejas been heavily involved down this left side for Brazil. Big part of Porto's continuing improvement in the league and of course in the Champions League.
Really favoring Richarlison down that right flank, and that might be why fans appreciate it. The cross inside, swept away by Machado.
What control!
Arthur rolls it wide.
Take a look at this, people. This is like a steel ball to a magnet from Arthur. Here it comes. Look at this. Wow! Beautiful. Not the finish, of course. It's shaving the outside of the post, and again we're looking at the end result, and that's not the artisan part of it. It's the control, which was absolutely sublime. But again, as I said in the preview, the Brazilians got a touch as soft as a slug's beer belly, and there's a great example of it in Arthur's beautiful control.
Zuniga under pressure. Coutinho.
Ball.
Starting to ping it around before the hits come.
Nicely.
Beautiful from Arthur, spinning it into the path of Tejas. Coutinho asking a lot of Wagner. Neymar and his entourage looking on. Talked about rumors of potential moves, some even concerning Neymar. And he might be one of those big money signings by Zinedine Zidane. And the PSG said he nor Mbappe will be going anywhere. Porto left back in for Arthur. Again, Wagner. Looking for help from the referee, not going to get it. Godoy goes down, a no whistle there. One right back by Panama. Flipped into open space. Now it's a foot race. And good work by Militao getting there just in time. Oh. Now looks like Paqueta back to his feet slowly. That was a nice sign of Eder Militao under pressure.
Well, it's his overall makeup that's the big set of signs down the road for Eder Militao. The speed is off of the Varane class, and he is ultra quick and reads the game decidedly well. Look out.
That was well read by Firmino. Robbed at the top of the box by Cummings.
Ooh.
And they're going to call the foul just outside the box.
This is very close. Cummings goes into the yellow peril book, but it's wonderful play from Firmino. Again, the feet continues to dance, and Cummings has got no other option to pull him down. It's a bad giveaway here. Bobby Firmino reads it well, and there's the pull. Man, that's close. It's the intention's probably there just outside of the box, but man, for me, that should be called as a penalty.
And again, the referees are given the leeway if the foul continues into the area to point to the spot, but Pinheiro, maybe because it's a friendly, elects to call the foul where it started. 18 minutes remain in the opening half.
Well, this is what added to the legend of the great Brazilians in the likes of Garrincha. When I was a young kid, my father used to say, Raymond, these free kicks from this distance are like penalties for the Brazilians. Showtime.
Will they pay the price? Coutinho seems to be the player with the right foot, but he blasts it up and over.
Yeah. Spitting the nasty verbals into his hand. Gets this one with way too much power through the strike. The technique and the angle and the trajectory of the ball is perfect, but needed to take a few pounds off of the effort. Just a little al dente.
Nodded back towards Mejia.
Now approaching the half-hour mark and still at duck eggs. It's been all Brazil with isolated raids by Eli Valdez's brave Panama. 3
shots to 1. 81% possession for the South Americans. Teja selects to keep it in play. Casemiro off balance. A touch by Murillo. Quintero. Ooh. It hits the hand, it appeared. Hey there, Militao. So close that he maybe gets the benefit of the doubt.
Well, it's a good pull of the trigger by Quintero. Take a look.
He was trying to hide the arm, but it does hit him.
It certainly strikes the arm from a close distance, and we've seen them given. So Eder Militao gets away with one. It was a good strike from Quintero after a little bit of hesitancy by Casemiro, who filled his pants in that possession, and the 2 red shirts were on him. Jumping jack, flash quick, and nearly led to the opening goal for Panama.
Now from the corner, driven across by Cooper. Glance down, but the shot by Rodriguez will sail away.
Certainly had claims for a handball though, Phil, didn't he?
He knew what he was trying to do.
It wasn't as if the arm was totally behind the back either. It was struck from a close distance, and I think that's what the referee must have looked at over everything else. But they can consider themselves a little bit unlucky, the red shirts. Nice soft feet, well played, Panama.
30 minutes in the book. The offside call.
Brazil in Group A in the Copa America, along with that impressive Venezuelan side that we saw yesterday. Bolivia and Peru.
Peru looking pretty good as well against Paraguay.
Yes.
Bolivia, you never know, but it does seem as though they are in another rebuilding stage. That's one of the joys of South American football. Venezuela, the only team never to qualify for a World Cup, long the doorstop of South American football, turning into a very entertaining team and dangerous team. So maybe a player or two could turn Bolivia that way. Ball slapped away into the back of the net off the deflection, and it's Paqueta who unwraps a goal for Brazil.
Beautiful finish. Luis Mejia comes very close to keeping out, but again it's the mutant fly's eye vision of the Brazils that feigns Lucas Paqueta, and that means so much to him, and that weight of that number 10 shirt just got a little bit lighter. Fabulous ball. Beautiful rainbow pass again. First time and this train arrives at the station and punches its ticket. Lucas Paqueta, wonderful technique. Unlucky by Luis Mejia to keep it out. He gets there, but the placement's just too accurate and the pop is too powerful. A beautiful strike. Again, the supply of the ball into Lucas Paqueta was truly sublime. Wonderful run.
For all of the hard work by Panama, it was one pass of genius and then a clinical finish by Paqueta. His first Brazilian goal.
Oh, good ball.
Looking for a second, and it slips away from Arthur, and there won't be a second touch.
Nicely covered up by Annabel Godoy, but either way, that slip is what cost him. This is wonderful vision by Firmino, and there actually gets away from him before the slip, to be fair.
Headed into the middle, and again, remember that coming just about a minute after Panama had a good chance and a solid penalty shout. And now two players grabbing their faces after this collision. Alberto Quintero and the goal scorer. Both of them slapping around. And Paqueta maybe a little more retaliatory, but apologies all around. Promising player, and you saw all the Flamengo fans.
Oh, it's more than that, Phil. Look at this ball, though, from Casemiro. It's a diamond pass. First time ball. He's got to get so much right, Casemiro, on the trajectory, the placement, and, of course, that Brazilian touch. And it's all exemplified first in Casemiro and then Lucas Paqueta. Here's the target for so many of the big European clubs, this young goal scorer now. The ex-Flamengo man has been identified for a long time, drawing comparisons to some great players in the past. Let's talked about Kaká, and what a compliment that is for young Lucas. And to get the shirt of Neymar here today, he's answered the bugle. But for the Real Madrid fans, that'll warm their hearts as well after seeing that visionary ball from Casemiro.
Youngest player in the World Cup pool for Brazil. Did not make the 23, but he looks to be lined up for the next World Cup. Made his debut against the U.S. back in August, and now scores his first goal against Panama.
A lot of good young players coming through, and Brazil continue to keep producing them on that incredible conveyor belt of talent. The Brazilian under-17s in a Sub-Americano for Tite, beating Paraguay 3-2, and the emergence of the captain of that team, Renier Jesus from Flamengo. Huge talent. Look at
it! It is. They've equalized. The flag stays down, and the header by Machado goes home.
Fabulous ball out of Brazil's class, this. And Deli Valdez politely applauding. But what a beautiful header from a beautiful pass. The captain strikes home. Look at this curler. Whoa. Very close to being offside. You cannot take it away from them, no VAR. But it may be just a lean offside, but a beautiful diamond ball again launched in from Eric Davis. And then this captain says, game back on. Wonderful header when it was presented to Machado, and that big bald head triggers it home, and Brazil still arguing it was offside.
His second career goal in his 79th career game, stepping into the boots of the legendary Roman Torres on that right side. And a goal that Julio Cesar Deli Valdez could have called his own back in his playing days.
Well, somebody, I'll not mention any names, Phil Shane, predicted that Panama would score a goal before we went on air tonight, and so well done whoever said that, Phil Shane.
There's still a long way to go, though. 8 minutes left, but Brazil with a shot across the bow. Panama responds with one of their own. 2 goals in 4 minutes, tied at 1. And again, I think as we look at that video, we'll get a chance at the half. Ball driven across, Machado heading defensively.
Chest ball there from.
Nice from Tejas. But Richarlison can't find the corner.
Still pushing onto the defender, I thought here. Take a look. Yep.
I think it was Richarlison that might have kept Machado onside. We'll take a look later, but regardless, as you said, no VAR, it will count. And again, I don't think that's a goal Tite minds that much, because it gives him something to focus on. He wants something to sink his teeth into for this new look Brazil to get them ready for the Copa America they will host this summer.
Well, either way, Phil, there's no defending a ball like that. It was perfect placement, so full credit to Panama. I still think it was a little offside, but the ball from Davis was absolutely exceptional.
2 brilliant goals that were actually outshone by the passes that created them. And while Luis Mejia almost denied Brazil, Ederson, no chance. Into the center. That goal seems to have knocked Brazil back on their heels a bit. Bit reactionary here in the midfield. See what they can do on the counter. Wagner. Casemiro escorted to the turf. 6 shots to 4. Possession still heavily in favor of Brazil, but down to 77%. Still Panama sticking with their game plan. Sails and hangs before Richarlison can get there. For Murillo, the Red Bulls right back continues to push forward, challenging Miranda. Richarlison on the far side, back to Eder Militao. Paqueta going wide on this left side as Coutinho has slid to the middle. Tejas. Firmino. A setup pass that no one approached. And under pressure all the way back to Ederson.
Tireless work from Gabi Torres up there. A lone wolf for Panama. It's that back line and that line in front of that defense for Panama that has been the most heroic and most industrious in shutting down just when that window opens a little bit. They've been close, Brazil, a number of times. Here they come again, rattling on the latch.
Back to Arthur, rid of it quickly to Coutinho. Brought it to his right foot, and the Panamanian defense
Coutinho
closes.
at the best. Here, wonderful. We're talking about a locksmith needed. You've got one here in Coutinho. Beautiful little delicate touch. And Paqueta opens that door, and then it gets slammed in his face by good interception. Like Cummins coming to the rescue again. A beautiful invention from Coutinho. him at his best. No space, very little time, and then it took that dexterity and change of his balance to kiss it through.
Well, we talked about it a little bit yesterday with Argentina struggling against Venezuela, and Lionel Scaloni, the makeshift manager leading up to the Copa America, alongside Pablo Aimar. And even though it was a makeshift team, an experimental team with Messi in the middle, you knew that the headlines in Argentina would not consider that. Instead, I guess blood was dripping from the black ink. I'm wondering a little bit if the pressure may be starting to build on Tite. He has brought back Jogo Bonito, but he hasn't really won anything yet. And this Copa America might be his last chance. One of the best managers in the national leagues. Won a Copa Libertadores, a Sudamericana, 2 national crowns, a national cup, 4 state championships. Of course, most of his time with Timão Corinthians. But just like 1994, Carlos Alberto Baera, sometimes you got to win something. Wagner tracks it down. Militao. Coutinho for Paqueta. Alex Tejas ridden off the ball by Quintero. Panama's worked their way back into this game.
And this started out well in that first 15 minutes, containing all of the early vibrant threat in his wonderful delivery. You'll never be able to tell in a million years from this angle or the previous one how close it was to being offside, but the flag stayed down. The referee said that's a goal, and that's all that counts. The rest of it's gossip. A wonderful ball from Davis, Eric Davis, and again, pressure was on to put it to the far side of a top-class goalkeeper, and Machado is absolutely pinpoint perfect, accurate as a knife throw at the circus, wasn't he?
Driving on Wagner, getting the cross in. Appeals that there was a touch, says Rodriguez, but the assistant doesn't spot it, and he actually had a shout. Looked like it comes off the cleat of Wagner. Coutinho offside. Charlison making the jump over to England last season with Watford and now with Everton, and now looking to step up to the senior side, scoring a goal every other game. Wagner again looking long. Just 1 minute added and we're halfway through. 1-1 the score. 32nd Casemiro to Paqueta, and Machado 4 minutes later heading home. Davis's cross. Paqueta stripped away.
Nice play from Quintero. Well, there may be a good few changes for Brazil. I don't think there'll be many from Deli Valdez. You don't want to be mixing up that chemistry that he's got to shut down these world-class players, and certainly Pan have done a tremendous job. The captain is their inspiration and the equalizer, and they say, we got this. Well, we'll see in the second half. Brazil's bench is $1 million signings, down to the modest lads from Panama. This is a game that's on the edge, and 2 wonderful goals executed, especially the Brazilian one, but the Machado header was a cracker as well. So let's see what the second half brings and the wonderful drama of our game.
Well, the Brazilian disco's beat continues to rain down from this home stadium of Porto. And now from the field, can they bring a little bit of their bossing nova against Panama? Gabriel Torres, lonely job up front for Panama. Firmino, similar story. Much of the play has gone to the flanks. Richarlison, Coutinho, Paqueta, and then Quintero and Rodriguez. The Red Bulls, Murillo looking pretty good as well, coming up the right wing. Jose Hernandez, Jaime Macias on our Spanish side. Phil Shane alongside Ray Hudson, and we are glad you have joined us. Brazil, Panama, level at 1 at the half. Brazil in the familiar colors from the left to the right, and the Canaleros in red defending the goal towards the right. Driven by Coutinho, flicked away by Rodriguez. And Ray, at the half, you know, as you mentioned, Deli Valdez probably just saying more of the same, guys. But what does Tite try to do?
Yeah, but I would imagine he'll keep on chipping away. The speed of their passing was pretty evident. You can't knock Brazil for that. The accuracy was maybe a tad off now and again, so you go to them and you ask them for a little bit more of the accuracy department, because the movement was good. And I think on the other side of it, Phil, if there is anything, it'll be a little bit more dynamic in their runs in between those tight passing lanes.
Swept away
Of Panama. But it's easier said than done when you're playing against two back lines that are so very closely packed. And again, it's often those runs. We saw it with that lovely little dagger ball from Coutinho at the outside of his foot in the early going, with that run into the box from Firmino, I think it was, at the end of our Richarlison, rather, where that sort of elusive run invites that elusive pass, and Brazil have got that in them. It just needs to be produced more.
Brazil putting the pressure on. They've made a bit of an adjustment. Paqueta's moved out to the left and Coutinho slotted into the middle. A give and go, but that burst of speed. We were talking about this during the half. A lot of accolades towards the youngster from Milan now, out of Flamengo. But what's there on the receiving end? What actually has he delivered? He's done well working with Piatek in Milan, helping spark their revival. He's shown a bit of promise, but a long way to go before he fills the shoes of someone like a Kaká. But is that fair, talking about a one-time World Player of the Year?
Well, that's the expectations of Brazil. That's the expectations of this wonderful country that develops and polishes these diamonds over time. He's a young man, no question about it, earning his corn in the hard battles of Serie A for Milan. He's been a big part of that turnaround for Milan. On a wonderful run of form of late.
Nodded back
Nice
down, battling,
good lay,
keeping it alive, and the shot down low goes Anderson to deny Rodriguez. Still in play.
Wonderful build up here again from Panama. It's not hit and hope. There's a beautiful ball played in, and it's held up nicely, and then the dish off from Torres, and then the spank is heading in, and that's a wonderful save from the Man City lad, Ederson. Just getting his 4th cap here for the Canarino, and that was a tremendous save.
Kept alive, but offside, Gabi Torres.
Gotta be very happy.
Drive it in, and again the speed of Murillo good enough. Gold Cup coming up for Panama. And well, many were expecting them to plummet, thinking it was that old gold generation that got them to the World Cup, and there wasn't much below. Well, Deli Valdez has unveiled a few jewels here today.
More in the team structure, I think, Phil, than absolute jewels. That's not taking anything away from them, but I see more of a well-organized and totally interdependent Panama side that know their limits and know what they've got and cover for each other well and support each other well. That's good defending again. Well played by Rodriguez. The distancing is going to be tested again.
Wagner, flag stays down, ball in, slapped off the crossbar just a touch to deny Richarlison.
Well, this time Rodriguez can't get to this winger quickly enough. The ball's played in, and Richarlison meets it beautifully and blisters the crossbar. Shaking his head, he cannot believe it. This ball's beautifully found. A lovely ball into Wagner, who, as I said, Rodriguez cannot close him down quickly enough, and giving him that much time and space is like giving Dracula a blood transfusion. He picks out Richarlison beautifully, and he's a lick of paint away from grabbing the lead for Brazil. Beautiful ball from the Corinthians man, Wagner.
We were talking about that as well. Well, Tejas, the Porto left back, very good in the first half. Wagner seemed to be a little hesitant, but maybe some instruction during the halftime, giving him some ideas.
Well, the youngster, as I said, Rodriguez, 20-year-old, he covered with beautiful spacing on the first attempt, but then it went inside and there was a couple of passes and then it went back out to Wagner, and young Rodriguez just couldn't get there quickly enough and nearly paid the price.
Stripped away. Nice run by Torres, waiting for a little help. Dribbling into space, tries to go up the line, but all the way back. Roberto Firmino to defend the center forward, the last line of defense.
Rodriguez again, just reaching in and giving him a little bump. And that nearly emptied the bench out of Brazil. And it's very much the same from Brazil. There's been no upping of the tempo. They continue to circulate the ball, plenty of width about them, nearly paid dividends.
Another chance out wide with Wagner. Casemiro. Paqueta. Well, he caught it, but he couldn't quite deliver it.
Always pulling away, unfortunately.
Looking to try and find the right 10 to play alongside Neymar in his return. I guess if there's a bit of a problem, the guy who scored is the one who will go to the bench when Neymar returns. Hand comes up, flag goes up. Unlike the United States, who has their raft of good young talent,
coming in for Greg Berhalter from all of the big leagues in the world. This Panama side reliant very much on that experience that I talked about, and there's the rub. They're showing up well against this Brazil side with that wealth of experience. Danger.
Ball across. Ederson thought about coming out, but it sails. There are some international players out there, but not the likes of playing for an Inter Milan or a Porto or Real Madrid.
Yeah, nowhere close.
Although Jose Rodriguez, the promising young wing, has gone to Spain, but leaving Croatia to join Alaves's reserve team, so maybe a chance to see him in the second half. But it's Quintero at Universitario in Peru, Torres at U de Chile. But they're holding their own with the legendary Brazil.
It's not a case of them getting in each other's way either. We saw that a lot of the time in Argentina's performance with a lot of new faces. Look out.
Bursting in, Fagner drives it, blocked by
Escobar.
Escobar.
The dead ball lane again, and Escobar sees the ball triggered into him. A good run initially, but then he could have went to the dead ball lane.
Cheating forward, Eric Davis stretches out to keep it alive, forces his way around Richarlison. Now wide for Rodriguez. Fagner, though, plays him well. Eli Valdez muttering to himself. Maybe a kneecap. Pops up on Firmino. Richarlison across. And a late whistle. Foul against Cooper. The ex-Toronto FC midfielder, now in Israel at Petah Tikva. Brazil will be the first to the bench as they look to make the double dip. So for two of these players, their last touch of the game. Coutinho will leave it. Paqueta caresses and pretty much passes it into the waiting arms of Mejia. So a fresh front runner and the Grêmio man Everton. Which they also do have Gabriel Jesus. And Ray, I know a player who's caught your eye, the Ajax youngster David Neres, also called up by Tite.
Yeah, a wonderful player, but them wonderful sleepy eyes, but he's always wide awake. Neres, cracking player. But they're the types of players I think that this Brazilian team might need to open up the lock for the winner, Phil. And as you said, Jesus especially is one of those wonderful elusive players. Might just be needed here as this Panama team starts to feel the oxygen sipping away.
Tejas inside, settling it, shooting it, and Paqueta screaming he was impeded, but he gets the shot away. Mejia catches it out of midair.
Bobby Firmino, look at this layoff here, magisterial, and this one's got to be put away no matter what. That's a beautiful touch from Bobby, And the foul is there. There should have been a penalty. The referee missing that one entirely. As a foul is being held, and he's absolutely got a big axe to grind there. But what a layoff from Firmino.
Well, Firmino does not score as much as other forwards out there, but it's plays like we've seen over the last 5 minutes, tracking all the way back to make that goal-denying challenge. And then also on the other side, you could not put it on a better platter. His final touch of the day, as Gabriel Jesus and Everton will check in for Firmino and Lucas Paqueta. So Jesus will likely slide up front, a more traditional striker. Meanwhile, Everton, Sosa Suarez, the 22-year-old from Grêmio.
Well played. Nicely.
Cap.
Oh.
Good cover. Well, he's not playing
Beautiful
like it's his first
hold
ever
by
game.
Gabriel Torres there, and the touch into the running player was just a pound too heavy. Or that would have been one-on-one with Edison. University of Chile man holds it up beautifully and just needed to tickle the ball into stride. I think it was Quintero running off of him.
Arthur pleading innocence, but it will be a free kick for Panama, and a lot closer than the one that they scored on. The two Deli Valdez brothers. Of course, Jorge mentioned some time in MLS. Julio Cesar spent some time at PSG before making the jump to La Liga.
Cagliari.
Hanging in. Headed up off the underside of the crossbar, but this time the flag does come up.
Well,
Cummings.
they're always like greyhounds out of the traps. They're just too hungry, and this one's clearly offside. But another Perla delivered. Just a half a step.
Just waiting a beat before he starts that run.
Yep.
That was the difference.
It's the timing as well. They're looking as the ball is struck, of course, before they beat that line, and just not able to lock the focus on the triggered in ball. Just quite to synchronize perfection, but don't get much closer again. Wonderful effort from Panama, and its failure.
Arthur. Could arguably be 3-1 Panama.
Nicely.
Wagner.
Magic!
Beautiful. But standing strong, Fidel Escobar. Richarlison sweeps it through the legs of Davis, and then a bit of a trip. How much contact there was, but he does draw the foul, and now a chance for Brazil. Of course, these were the days where Panama used to be able to stand strong. So good defensively. Coutinho. Down goes Escobar. No whistle. Still loose in the 18, and finally smashed away. Trying to read it and almost stealing it, Torres. Pressure is on. Cooper now sending it long. Will it hold? Torres just can't get there. That close.
That's the team spirit. There's a right pass, just overhit in its urgency to get to the big man, Gabi Torres, who had beaten the offside trap for sure and had a big cow's field in front of him had the ball been played in. There's just a little bit more subtlety. Well played. Nicely.
Turn. Down goes Richarlison. Davis did have his hands up, but take another look.
There's an early shirt pull there, and then a little feel of the shoulder. Again, enough contact to pull him down, enough to put him off, that's for sure. I've seen them given in the outside of the penalty box, but it seems to be called a little bit less when it's in the penalty box. It needs to be much more of an action, although in the regular run of play they're given more often than not.
Eder Militao, turf gives way, he doesn't, but he does give the ball away. Rodriguez stripped just outside the 18 and then reclaimed by the Canaleros. 1-1 the score. 25 minutes remain. Mejia, the Nacional of Montevideo goalkeeper, sends it just a little too far wide. Tite, 57 years of age. His son, by the way, one of his assistants, does a lot of the computer scouting for him. Mateus used to play here in the U.S. as a college player at Carson Newman.
Good ball!
Ball forward. Out comes Mejia, and he gets there in time.
Wonderful leaving of the lane, and he just does enough to snuff out the danger arriving in Richarlison. But what a ball!
And now he collapses.
Two big men arriving. Wonderful stab ball right into stride, and the goalkeeper gets there a good step ahead. Fabulous from Coutinho. Again, wonderful subtlety of the pass, and that's well covered by this Nacional goalkeeper of Uruguay, Luis Mejia. He'll be fine.
Had the wind knocked out of him. No foul on either player?
No, two big men going for a wonderful ball. And I don't think there was any intent by either of them other than to get the ball. I think the Lewis was just a half a step quicker than Richarlison. Oh, fair call, no harm.
Orlando Mosquera, the debutant, loosening up on the sideline in case he can't continue.
Another look at the artisan work of Coutinho, and wonderful vision, and his pass again dictating the run more than Richarlison's path to goal dictating Coutinho's pass, and that's one of the real great attributes of the Barcelona man. Well, but we don't see it quite enough, leading to that sort of danger with the club team, and it's there.
It might be his last touch. Just as a reminder, Felipe Anderson off the bench and loosening up. Another enigmatic creator for this Brazilian side. Things starting to percolate a bit. Richarlison makes the run, but Eder didn't see him. Looks the other way instead. Deflected off the charge of Everton.
A good run by Everton. This one's really stung nicely into that area. Well dealt with again by the captain, Machado.
Brazilian fans starting to shout a bit. Coutinho from the corner. Drives it low, flicked away by Godoy. Poorly sent back into the mix. Godoy almost gives it up though. Machado to midfield.
There's that quickness, wonderful speed by Militao.
Caught Zinedine Zidane's eye. As you said, what were the figures, right? Buy him for $500,000, sell him for 35.
Yeah, that's what we do with the goalkeepers.
Of course, was it Eder Militao, about a €50 million price tag.
It's another nice ball slipped through.
Richarlison back out wide on the right. Tiptoes through. In for Jesus. The shot blocked as Mejia to the rescue
Fabulous
again.
football from Richarlison. The ex-American Mineiro man. Look at this. Wonderful twinkle toes. 3 men inside a telephone box to beat, and they don't care. Skedaddles past them beautifully. Brilliant from Richarlison.
Laid off by Arthur. Again, Fagner much more involved in the second half.
Nice.
The referee in the way, but Bobby Jesus doesn't mind. Richarlison pinching in, Arthur pushing forward. Behind the Barcelona playmaker.
Stage is set for one of those trademark Coutinho curlers. If he gets just a half a step, he doesn't need a half a step. Magic!
Richarlison tiptoeing through the tulips. He'll get a corner.
Feet like the blades of flashing combined harvester there. Wonderful play from a 21-year-old Richarlison.
Coutinho. Oh, he's in there! Good work, and Richarlison's rebound goes high.
Beautiful jackknifing header. Again, the proverbial salmon leaps out of the summer stream, and it's a big bucket full of knuckles header from Casemiro. Man alive, Brazil must be condemning this Porto groundsman who paints these goalposts, as there's too much paint on him. Denied by a lick.
And in comes Felipe Anderson, so Coutinho will stick around for a bit longer. The ex-Lazio, now Hammer midfielder.
Under pressure here now, Panama.
Caressing it forward, it's a yellow wave and another foul.
Put so much into this game, and now they are hanging on the edge of the cliff like Wile E. Coyote. And the invention keeps on coming. And brave Panama holding in. As the Brazilians keep shaking the champagne bottle, is it going to go pop? It takes something ultra special from this distance to beat this goalkeeper. We've seen him sting him, but the option, little dagger ball presented. I think this will be a red hot crack.
It will be, but Mejia was up to the challenge.
Wonderful. Can Jungle Cat quick on the line here. Oh, what a strike from Casemiro. It's got power, it's got placement, it's got the whip and the dip and the bend, but it ain't got the net.
From the corner, Mejia punches. And it's Fagner just scraping the top of the crossbar.
Well, shoot, he's in now for the Canarino. Good goal striking distance. He's never going to pull out of it. And they're so accustomed to seeing accuracy and power from distance through all of the different generations of Brazilians. Another sub coming in for the weary Panama now. And what a good job this man's done, Phil. Gabriel Torres, Uda Chile man. Wealth of experience, still got plenty of pop and run and danger in the holding up of his game, and then a support of the runners. Well played, big Gabriel.
And it's the Saudi-based Jose Fajardo who checks in for his third cap, part of Panama's 2018 World Cup team. For the Man City man, but the pass goes awry. Scooping it down the line, away from Tejas. Did he get a touch? Out for the Panama throw. Oh, the flag from the assistant went Panama's way, the referee overruling it. Casemiro, we saw with the header, saw with the free kick just moments later. Think about what might have been. When he joined Sao Paulo as a youngster, he was a forward. But there were so many other forwards, and he was the youngest and smallest. They said, why don't you move back a bit? And he turned into a world-class defensive midfielder. 15 minutes remain. Coutinho. Tejas. Hangs, slapped away, but right to Felipe Anderson, who takes it wide, and the cross is parried.
Take a look at Everton here. And this ball comes back. Everton right there waiting for the pullback that isn't delivered.
Dangerous. Met by the defense. A poor clearance by Cooper, but he gets some help. Panama reeling a bit, hanging on to the ropes, trying to survive. Falling asleep was
a great training exercise this is for Julio Deli Valdez. Up against this team, it was expected to be a wrecking ball against Panama. It's been anything but. They've been pummeling them, as you say, hanging on the ropes perhaps, Panama, but still got plenty of stamina in them legs, and the oxygen's still getting through to the brain defensively. It needs something a little special from Brazil. You know it's there in those yellow shirts. Still waiting for Coutinho to get just that yard of space, and he's frozen in front of the defender. There's a number of others that can pull the same rabbit out of the hat, but this man is something special.
And Coutinho starting to show it, although denied by Armando Cooper.
Yeah.
Up into the middle for Fajardo.
Amazing how that commentator's curse never fails.
Just to keep a little humility in the game. Casemiro and Quintero exchanging words. Felipe Anderson wide for Fagner. The Corinthians right back, a lot more involved in the second half. 29, so this is really his last chance to claim that starting right back spot. Tejas. Can Panama weather the storm? Coutinho. And Charlison's in the middle if they can find him. Everton will have to settle for the corner.
Shown up nice since he's come in, the Gremio man. Wonderful quick feet. Nutmegs on the run with the outside of his foot. Brazil! Beautiful.
6 corners in the second half. He has been up to the challenge to this point. Low, trying to flick it on. Gabi Jesus impeded, and he's not going to get the call, and he's not happy about it.
I don't think he's impeded at all.
He's showboating?
He's well defended by his man. Well, there's a look. He knows he's going to face this numerous times. Deep, deep teams to break down. And you've got players that usually can find what X is in terms of breaking down the equation of defensive football. But signs of time starting to go quicker through the hourglass now. Panama can start to see the finishing line. Be a massive point, and it'll do their confidence, their pride, their pluck the camaraderie, just great things. It will, even if Brazil get a winner, but it'll be a bit of a spirit crusher for what will be an elated Panama locker room if this scoreline stays the same, or Panama can grab a winner.
They've had their chances.
Well, here's another chance for Brazil. Nah. I didn't expect this, but she's still smiling. She thinks there's a winner on her way. Had a good game. Richarlison, Phil. Again.
Dangerous.
Must have had a tough paper round when he was a young lad, because he doesn't look 21-year-old. Playing absolutely wonderful football.
And he doesn't play like he's 5'10" either. Throws his body around.
I think that was measured just last week. That's grown all the time.
Skipping to the near side. Another substitute ready to check in for Panama. It's
nicely. Look at this.
Ernesto Walker.
Oh. Amazing. Outside of the foot pass by Eric Davis there. That's audacity. He just got there. And certainly Cummings does a good job, the San Jose Earthquakes lad, in maybe rescuing Eric Davis's ambitious pass.
And the player coming out is going to be Cooper. The player coming in, Ernesto Walker. Like Jose Rodriguez getting his, or actually like Jose Fajardo getting his start at Independiente, the team that's burst onto the CONCACAF Champions League scene this year. But he's ridden that now to a loan at the LA Galaxy reserve team. So we see Walker here today against Brazil. We might see him in an MLS game before the season is up. A 20-year-old, just his second cap after debuting against the U.S. back in January.
He's got work to do here, no matter who he plays for now. He cannot let his guard drop. So a big challenge for Big Ernesto.
6'2"
Eyes of blue.
midfielder. Haven't looked closely enough, Ray. Let's see if he can give himself a close-up. Felipe Anderson tried to sneak it through the legs. It'll be a Panama throw. Good work by Rodriguez. Tite. And for Panama, they won't be in any rush. 8 minutes left. They can dream of a victory, but they can be quite content with a draw. Foul by Fajardo. Wide for Tejas, and again a good debut for the Porto left back. And if you've seen some of the close-ups, the scar on his head cleared away by Escobar. His career almost ending with a head-to-head clash back in his Gremio days in 2013 in his debut season against their arch rivals, but they were able to stitch him up, and he's been able to do more than stitch his career. Davis.
Well played.
Still in.
Needed to come back to him there. Fajardo.
There's lots of other action going on right now if you haven't been paying attention to the AFCON qualifiers. But a few upsets gearing up for this summer's championship. Right now, Ghana against Kenya. You have Mozambique and Zambia all available. Check out beIN Sports Connect. This one still has a good 6 minutes plus. Will there be a winner? Everton looking for a gap, but quickly shut. Rodriguez, and another sub for Panama. It'll be Omar Brown checking in, and Alberto Quintero's day is done. Good work by the former Earthquake. Well, you could see Neymar muttering a little bit, maybe a little more cautious with his words than he was after PSG's Champions League ouster, but it has not been a pleasant month for Neymar. And he's been buried on the sideline. Brown, the 24-year-old, still with that Independiente La Chorrera, making his 4th appearance. Cesar Blackman also checking in. Everton.
The ball
out wide. Well met
Good
by
cover.
Machado.
And behind him as well. There's insurance behind each one of these red shirts. Here again. Admirable job Deli Valdez has done here, Phil. Coutinho freezing him. So got to go inside. Look out. Well cut back again. Wonderful defending. That was Ernesta Walker doing a yeoman's job and shutting down the little artisan. So again, good focus from the lads off the bench for Panama.
Top of the 18. Jesus.
Again, negative run.
Finding a bit of a gap.
Yeah, but going the wrong way.
Out again, Mejia. Runs into his own defender and then elects to play it safely.
Nicely. Well played.
Trying to control Casemiro. He's been next to Richarlison, their most dangerous man. Through the legs, but still in play. Omar Brown committing the foul to try and come around the other side. See the 3 starters on the bench looking on pensively. Ray, at the beginning, you were complimenting a certain prognostication about Panama scoring a goal. I don't think the most optimistic of Canalero fans would have imagined they'd still be battling here in the 88th minute. Cesar Blackman, like Eric Davis on the other side, the Slovakian-based fullback, surrendering the corner. Back for Felipe Anderson. Out comes Mejia with the strong punch. And a chance now on the counter for Panama. There's a run in the middle if he can find it, but Davis tripped up in the process.
No, and it's a foul, all right. Militao, for all his speed, just pushes through the back. A good brave run again from Panama. Quick on the counter-attack. Little Eric Davis.
And the player checking in is going to be Abdiel Arroyo for Jose Rodriguez. He's emptied the bench and given a few debuts here today as Julio Cesar. Giveaway in the midfield and a chance on the break. Panama scrambling back.
Look at the numbers. Look at this flood of red shirts getting back again. Oh!
The arm coming out from Brown. He'd already won the ball, but Jesus wins the foul.
I think he would have got that had he not come across Jesus. But in his urgency to get to that ball, he set up a real big danger sign for his defense to cover this. Wonderful placement. These are the ones that practice till the moon goes to bed. On the practice field, let's see if they've got anything in it. The ball
to the 6, headed by the defense. Fajardo puts it out for the corner, and Machado down. Took the full weight of Luis Mejia's charge. Back to his feet. Corner from Coutinho. Edge of the 6. Looked like it could have been a takedown on Blackman, but no. Felipe Anderson, delicate with the left. Casemiro, and headed away by Cummings.
Fabulous cover. And if Cummings doesn't get it, Mejia does. Again, bit of abracadabra there. Wonderful touch, subtlety of the pass from Casemiro, but it's covered, and again, the insurance is behind the defender.
It's the only friendly for Panama. Brazil will be in action.
Commitment from these red shirts, man, throughout this entire 91st minute.
5 added, smashed wide. Charging in Militao, they're going to say it was deflected for another corner.
Doing it the hard way. They cannot shift this one away. 2 brave men going for the ball. Very close to meeting it is Militao.
15 shots to 5. Near post. And Miranda almost getting the touch. Fajardo getting the worst of it. Brazilian fans think maybe making a bit too much of it. Vargas, the final
an amazing underdog in Venezuela step up to the plate against Messi and Argentina yesterday. Well, to be quite honest, Panama aren't exactly underdogs. They're under puppies, coming up against a star-studded Brazilian side who have played really well in many departments, but in the department of endeavor and commitment and focus in defensive situations, in their setup, they have been beyond admirable, Panama. And on top of that, Phil, they have had their chances. They've created out of the long grass and came out and hunted down, and can consider themselves a little bit unfortunate, as well as Brazil. 2 wonderful goalkeepers in goal here today, but Mejia has been colossal, and he isn't the star man for this Panama side. Pick a man of the match out if you can for Panama, because every one of them has been the embodiment of 100% commitment in a really great tug-of-war game of football.
Julio Cesar Deli Valdez, just the interim manager, but the fact that this team has bought in, not just to the game plan, not just to the system, but to the belief. As I said, there's no follow-up to this for Panama.
Well, there's still time on the clock for Brazil, and you cannot count this team out with their heritage and their skill. That's a foul.
Down goes Felipe Anderson. Brown sliding through. Only 3 substitutions. Maybe it's the short break before that game against the Czechs on Tuesday. There's a lot of talent still on the bench for Tite, but he's sticking with this. 2 minutes remain. Just like a corner, but there can be offside, so Panama trying to draw a line around the 6. 90 seconds. Ball smashed up and over. Again, Militao. Actually, Casemiro throwing his body in. Take another look.
On top of it all, Panama done a hell of a job subduing this rabid crowd of Brazilian fans who were all full of hoops and hollers in the early parts of this game, but been a less as its games went on. Well played.
Round to the center. Here's Cummings stepping up. Overlap is on. The youngster Blackman. They might have the final chance here. 30 seconds remain.
Nicely.
Through ball. Open in the middle. Volley into the corner. No. It's just wide by Fajardo. Inches away from a winner.
Magnificent football from the Canaleros. And they make their own canal towards goal. Fajardo with a wonderful trigger. He comes to him in a blink of a bee's eye and he locks his focus on it. Very unfortunate not to strike the golden nugget there. Last chance for Brazil here.
Set up by the debutant Blackman, but now back on defense. The 96th minute. Felipe Anderson. Mejia in the hit safe hands. The final whistle from Pinheiro, and Panama holds on 1-1 against Brazil.
And the boos rain around this stadium of the Dragons of Porto. The little Goliath, or the little David,